2025 only just kicked off, and the film industry has already seen its first major failure with the movie Better Man. A failure, might I add, that has nothing to do with the quality of the film, but how it ended up doing at the box office this past weekend on its wide release in theaters. A film that, when first revealed, was met with many confused reactions, almost potentially turning people off from wanting to go see it. But at the same time, this film failed in so many other areas that in this video I am going to analyze and break down. I could have talked about Den of Thieves 2 that also just came out this weekend. The out-of-touch and nonsensical comments from Andy Muschietti about why his Flash movie failed years ago that have no self-awareness to them. But for me, this was the thing I wanted to talk about because it has a much bigger story to it for the future of this industry. To all those watching this video, where do you think it went wrong for Better Man and why it failed with people being able to go and see it? Let me know down below in the comments. Again, as a disclaimer of which I will repeat many times in this video, I want to make it abundantly clear that this video and its conversation have nothing to do with the quality of Better Man. Everyone who has seen the movie for the most part so far has praised it with great reactions. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one that I think makes up for the first reactions that this movie got when it was first revealed last year. The video has everything to do with the outside factors of why the movie failed to make a big enough bump at the box office. The movie's quality is not the fault of why it failed. About $10 million worth of people saw it worldwide with a $1.1 million domestic opening, which is not a lot, and there are many reasons for that. One of those reasons is around a big topic of conversation recently in the industry, which is budget. The magnitude and scale of budgets in movies in the last several years or so has shown that some studios simply just do not know how to realistically and smartly budget. Better Man came out to a $110 million budget, which for a musical biopic movie like this, unless it's got the name of an insanely popular musician on it, it makes no sense why you would make it that high. There are no big stars in terms of actors in this film, so a lot of the budget for this kind of film is going to go to the production and the CGI, of which when you look at the footage, it seems like there was a lot. A film like this in the world of musical biopics should not be more than $100 million and should at least be at the minimum $50 million if I'm being generous. Rocket Man following Elton John had a $40 million budget. Bohemian Rhapsody, following Freddie Mercury, had a $52 million budget. And then the most recent example of a musical biopic, A Complete Unknown, following Bob Dylan, reportedly has around a $50 to $70 million budget. In my opinion, those are films that, to some extent, reasonably budgeted themselves. But this transitions into another topic of conversation, as I just mentioned, with where the money goes to, and that's around this movie's gimmick. The gimmick of which centers around the main star Robbie Williams being turned into a CGI ape. Now, if you go online and you read up on why this was done, it comes from Robbie Williams himself, who seems like is the one making the decision for doing the CGI ape. He said in an interview that making himself an ape has everything to do with his view of himself. This comes from the fact that he believed that he had an irreverent personality throughout his entire career, and so as a result of that, he perceived himself as less evolved than those around him, be that it is family, his childhood friends, or his fellow band members. As a result of this, he decided to portray himself as an ape. Williams took his self-perception literally, translating to that feeling of being lesser evolved than other people. And this is where we get to asking the big question: was the gimmick of making him an ape needed? If you want my honest opinion, it seems like the ape gimmick was more distracting than it was helpful. As someone who doesn't know Robbie Williams at all, the first time I saw the trailer, I was very confused as to what this movie was even about when you include the fact that it had a CGI ape in it. As it is, just the usage of making a CGI ape character is very expensive on the budget, and you are talking about putting this character on screen for the entirety of the runtime along with the various usages of CGI in helping your production design elements. The Planet of the Apes movies know this best. I mean, just look at the newest one, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That had a $160 million budget, which is only $50 million higher than Better Man, and that movie is almost entirely filled with CGI. It makes you wonder how much less of a budget Better Man could have had if they maybe stuck to a more traditional style of a musical biopic. In my opinion, I feel like Robbie Williams tried to do too much to represent himself within this movie movie by adding in the ape gimmick. As it stands, I mean no offense to him in any way, but I just don't know if he is the kind of musician who you would garner a musical biopic film for. If anything, I feel like he is the kind of musician that would do much better in a docu-series, but maybe that's just me. Again, that's not to take away from the movie, as it was good for a lot of people who saw it. I just think that financially speaking, it wasn't smart to go down this route with a musician like Robbie Williams, even if you were to remove the whole gimmick of it all by making him a CGI ape. But in fairness to Robbie Williams, the other reason why this movie failed had probably all more to do with the fact that it was just very, very poorly marketed. This is by far one of the most poorly marketed films I've seen in a long time. For one, the film had multiple releases, and so it felt like the studio found trouble in marketing when the film actually had its main wide release, which was this past weekend. I think a lot of people just did not know that this movie was coming out at the start of the year. On top of that, I think the trailer, at least the first trailer, did the movie no service, even if not to its own fault. The online reaction to that first trailer when it came out turned a lot of people off, and it seems like there was just no real good reaction to it from people. The trailer itself didn't do all that well either, so it didn't have much going for it either way. Leading up to the movie's release, I never really saw a whole lot of promotion from it. They did release a sneak peek to one of the musical scenes in the film, and that brought some people back around. But overall, it just seems like people had no interest in a film like this. As a marketing student who graduated with learning about this stuff, I can't tell you enough how hard it is to market something to people that they just aren't interested in. Unfortunately, Robbie Williams is just not the draw for people in terms of wanting to go see a movie about him. You could put so much creativity and strategic thinking into your marketing, and it's only going to do so much when the material and subject matter itself, it just isn't there. In 2025, we have the Michael Jackson musical biopic coming, and when people think of musical biopics, they think of big artists like that would interest them enough to go and see a film about it. Musicals in today's day and age in general are just a very niche genre to get enough people to go and see them. They either require getting the best stars to portray them or feature musical artists that people will want to go and see the story about their lives. Sadly, I just don't feel like Robbie Williams was the best one to be a movie, and that right there is just some of the biggest reasons for why this film failed. But there you have it. That's my commentary on the film Better Man. Again, I can't stress enough, this video has nothing to do with the quality of the movie. I have a good feeling that when it comes on digital and streaming services, it's going to find new life there, which is a good thing. Don't take this video as me being an American who doesn't appreciate Robbie Williams. I've got no doubt that this dude is a great musician. I've already listened to a few of his songs before, and I think he's good for sure. But what do you all think about the movie and my commentary on it? Leave your comments down below, and let's have a nice and respectful conversation about it. I can't ask enough that you do please be respectful, as I do read all my comments to the best of my ability. Thank you for stopping by my channel. If you want to see more moving forward from me with regards to film and television, and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new here, and turn on that notification bell. I'm trying to build a community on here, and your support would be greatly appreciated. So that's a wrap, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.